good evening, good night, wherever you might be. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is February 18th, 2026. That is 1 month short of 6 years of Torah, every single weekday, mostly in the morning, sometimes not. Today I'm coming to you live from Sydney, Australia, where I'm visiting my family. It's been a blessing, a powerful one, to be present with family and friends here in Sydney. Yesterday, the broadcast was a powerful experience from Bondi Beach, where on December 14th, just over 2 months ago, there was a massacre, an attack on the Jewish community. If you would like to see my sister Tzira and my brother-in-law Arsen take us through a walk through Bondi Beach, go to yesterday's broadcast. It's good to see all of you. Neil and Adele, Lydia and John, Jonathan, Linda and Arlene, Jack, it's so good to see all of you. Let's give a second to see who else is here so that we can make sure to include everybody in this broadcast. Okay, let's take a breath. We'll sing a bracha. We'll learn some Torah. Cynthia, good to see you too. Ya la 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 la, did ya la la la, did ya la 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 la, ay la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah לעסוק בדברי תורה, הפוך בה והפוך בה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. דדיה לי 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 לי, דדיה לי לי לי, דדיה לי 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 לי, ay ay la la la. It's good to see all of you. For those who are curious, it is 7 a.m. in Sydney. This week's Parsha Terumah has dense details. It's toward the end of the book of Exodus, where 4 of the 5 last Torah portions deal with the construction of the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle. And one of the things that strikes us most is the attention to detail. You know, I often say when we get to this part of the Torah that for someone like me, this is like looking at an old version of stereo instructions, how complicated it is to get it just right. This wire goes here, this component goes there, and it is hard to get it right. The Torah goes into such detail not only for the construction of the exterior of the Mishkan, but also the furniture. And it is not simple. It is not simple. But what does it tell us about the importance of getting it right? Because so often we say to each other, do your best, that's what counts. And of course, what I believe most of all is that God measures intent, God measures effort. Often the result is not the point, it's about devotion. There are beautiful stories in the Hasidic tradition of a child or an adult who's never learned Hebrew and sits in the back of the synagogue and whistles because that's what they know to do. And the rabbi or somebody nearby in the story often recognizes that the power of that whistle, the power of giving it everything you've got, that is what is transformed by God into the most glimmering version of what a prayer could be. But how interesting it is, in contrast, to see that despite a theology and those beautiful stories where God measures what we mean to create, even if what we create is less than perfect. In this Parsha, in Parsha Terumah, we have the description of the furniture that goes into the Mishkan, and I'll single out 2 pieces. Of course, there are many. Not only the pieces, the curtains, not only the curtains, the materials. The Torah goes into great detail. But it is an incredible thing to see the Torah describe how the menorah, not a Chanukiah like we use these days. And I think about Chanukiot often, given that here in Sydney, the first night of Hanukkah was marred by violence and terrorism, the loss of 15 people's lives, the murder of 15 people, including a 10-year-old girl named Matilda, whose imagery is all over. Um, but the menorah was a 7-branch candelabrum, and it was meant to be lit every day. The rituals about lighting it are spectacular to read. It's a constant illumination. And the other piece of the Mishkan that I wanted to look at today is right above the Ark of the Covenant is one piece of gold with two angels, two kruvim, hammered out of it. And similar to that, the menorah is commanded to be miksha, one piece of gold. The angels on the cover to the ark, also one piece of gold hammered into shape. The menorah is described as a flower hammered out of the gold. And there's a lot to see in the symbolism here. But first, just let in the process. Before I say anything about what the meaning might be, the process itself is onerous and intricate because you imagine somebody special, an artist of unparalleled skill, was called to make the menorah, this gold hammered work, and to make the cover of the Ark of the Covenant out of one piece of gold with intricate angels reaching toward each other. What is it to be called to get it right? Which is different than we often consider sacred service. Again, sacred service is so often about effort and intention, what we call kavanah. But every once in a while, getting it right matters quite a lot. I don't have an application for this question. I'm just asking you to think about it, especially as some people are pointing out that this month of Adar, we're at Rosh Chodesh Adar, the first day of the month of Adar. Yes, we are told that effort and incremental goodness and joy matter. In fact, that's the language of the Mishnah. Misha nichnas Adar marbim b'simcha. Those who enter Adar increase their joy. Notice it doesn't say those who enter Adar are joyful. Increase their joy by increments. And having stood yesterday on Bandai Beach and not only been taken around by my sister and my brother-in-law, who thank God survived a terrible, terrible ordeal where not everyone survived, but meeting other people, just people. There are other survivors just walking around. It's part of their healing ritual. There's actually also a team called Lifeline, which walks around. They're people with identifiable blue shirts, talking to people. I believe they're trained social workers to help anyone who might be in a dangerous place with their mental health. And that space with all of these different people reminded me of the Mishkan. All of these separate pieces, each of us, walking around, some of us unaware that the space had been transformed and was a marker of trauma and, please God, also of strength, resilience, and healing. But also, it's just a place with a lot of people. And there's a tension between being a little bit more joyful and getting it right. But here's what I do know. The menorah and the cover called the Edut, the cover for the Ark of the Covenant with the Kruvim, the angels above it, we got that right. And they were made of one piece. And just imagine, friends, if people, us, you and me, when we would walk around anywhere, sometimes unaware of the space that we are walking on and that it is significant to some in invisible ways. But imagine that whenever we saw someone else, we would recognize that we were all made of the same stuff, just like the Kruvim, the angels, just like the illuminating menorah. We are all made of the same stuff. We experience the world differently. We go through different things. And please God, this month, we increase our joy, which means that each of us in our own way tries to reach incrementally towards happiness, contentment, joy, maybe even moments of celebration, because, among other things, yesterday was one of my niece's birthdays. And thank God we could celebrate. On the same day that her parents and I walked around a very, very complicated space, she was also celebrating with her classmates at school. All of it is true, and it's all the same stuff, and it's in each and every one of us. The Mishkan, that temporary tabernacle that was built and deconstructed each year, was made of ornate materials. So are you. So am I. So is my niece and my sister and my brother in law. So are the people from Lifeline doing holy work. So were our beloveds that lost their lives on that tragic day. And so will be those who rise in their memory to do good things and to maintain Jewish safety and joy each and every day. We're called to be the most human we can be. And in some ways, the intention is all that matters. And sometimes, when we remember that we are made of the same stuff as our neighbor, maybe we get it right too. So, let's take a breath. Yesterday I said, let's send our hearts to the east. Some of us will send our hearts to the east, but actually, being here, we're sending our hearts to the west. That's a new language for me, but you learn new things every day. Let's sing Hatikva, friends. Kol hod balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון Virushalayim. See you tomorrow, friends. Same time. Take good care. Bye. Oh, didn't end.